Slightly off key. No. Hello.
Hello. Mine's on.
There we go.
Okay.
Now go back to the other one.
Hi guys. I fell and broke my foot 3 weeks ago, so forgive me for limping and being not so jumping around these days. I was putting a window treatment above my bed, hanging the brackets, missed the step stool next to the bed, and boom.
But thank you for making it here and getting on the stage. Thanks so much thank you to all of you guys.
Thanks to all of you for coming and coming by our table and getting in our raft and playing with us.
How many have gotten in the raft so far?
Oh, right.
Yeah, you guys are terrific.
How many went in the raft more than once?
How many never made it back from the raft trip? We decided, the three of us, we come to these shows, and we love coming to the shows, and we have so much fun. We're like brothers and sisters. And we thought, instead of, just going to a show where you just get people to sign an autograph and go, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Give me your money. And we thought we wanted to give something special to our fans. And so we lugged the raft along, and the oars, and the life jackets. And so thank you guys for coming.
Sorry about that.
That was the Zarn.
So I have some questions, and we'll just jump around. Thanking the fans. What do you think is one of the reasons, at least, for the longevity and popularity of this show?
Start this one?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it was a completely different time when you all became Land of the Lost watchers, and there was 3 channels. There weren't a lot of options, and so we have like this tremendous fan base that is loyal and what? Anyway, and so that plays a huge part in it, but the quality of the writing on the show is what continues to make it, timeless. It still stands up today, the writing. So those 2 things, and I also think the actual real bond that we had as a family on the show, I think that screamed through to the audience. I mean, we're like living proof of it today, that we still are like a family. And this is not an act for all of you. We like to show you that this is how we are, but whether you were here or not, this is really truly how we are. So it's really neat. We're very lucky to come from a family and then find an additional one, and then be able to go to these shows and just like collect families. So it's really very cool. Thank you so much.
But I think the writing, the show was written by the Star Trek writers. Yeah. So I know it's a kid's show, but they never talked down to the kids. I mean, how many kids back in the day were talking about time doorways and all this stuff, right? So David Gerald was our head writer. He wrote Trouble with Tribbles. And Kaka. And then he brought on Larry Niven, Walter Koenig, who created Enoch. He wrote the first episode of Enoch. And if you go, we have the original Enoch costume, which we have never seen for 40 years. And I gotta tell you, I saw it yesterday. I started to cry. It was like, because I miss Walker Edmondson, who was, of course, Enoch, was an amazing actor and a friend, and he's passed on. But to see that costume was pretty extraordinary. But I think the writing was incredible. Sturgis and DC Fontana, who wrote the best episode for Kathy.
Yeah, it was the episode where I meet my future self. Yeah, it's called Elsewhere. She wrote that, so yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Same question for you.
What made the show special?
What do you think makes the show
Chaka.
bond to these people? Chaka, yeah. What is this?
I don't know, that one's not working. Sorry, guys, about that.
We apologize. Yeah,
It's just the feedback. Something's hitting the feedback here.
Well, just
Those mics are hot.
point it.
Real hot.
Is there a way to turn a couple of
Here's the loose one. Try that one.
All right. How do we keep that from happening?
Both of you back that way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that was amazing, I think Chaka, the language for Chaka, you know, you guys know that, tell them the story about how that was all done.
The language was developed by a UCLA professor, Victoria Fromkin. And the Cross hired her to develop this language specifically for the show. And so I think you can actually find the dictionary online with the meanings of the different words and how they fit together. It was kind of tricky when you're 10 years old to speak a language that didn't really exist until a few weeks before the show. But that's what I was faced with.
And you know, Phil, I know, I feel like I'm scared with this. You know, Phil was the youngest black belt in karate in the United States. And
The gang's all here.
it's a great story of how Phil got the job because he was the youngest black belt. Tell him that story.
Well, the reason why I got the role of Chaka is I was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and my teacher Chuck Norris. And after flipping Johnny Carson, the producers saw the show and they contacted my agent. They wanted me to come in for the role, and so I met with all of them and did some karate for them, and they were impressed with my physical abilities and knew that I would be able to take on the role of Chaka running around like a monkey boy. So.
And on the third callback, I went actually for a total of 7 callbacks in order to get my role. On the third callback, I ran into Phil in the office, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I'm auditioning for this show." Well, we had worked together prior to Land of the Lost. We not only had the same agent, we had similar friends, but we also did a Cheez-Its commercial. And I know you're going to ask.
Make them sing, yes, the Cheez-Its commercial. They have to sing it. Trust me. Sing it, make them.
Oh God. Oh God, every time.
So imagine this. Wait, I'll set the picture. Picture this, Sicily. No, that's a different show. So what? They're in a thing. Remember the car, the Thing? There was that little boxy car.
Yeah.
Volkswagen. So they're the kids. There's mom and dad, and they're driving in their Thing.
Anyway, we're going down this country road, and it's a Cheez-Its commercial, and it goes like this. I like munching, I like crunching, we like eating Cheez-Its. I love the wild taste of cheese.
Hey, more Cheez-Its, please.
They're great crunching crackers.
They hate me doing that.
We'll get you back later.
This is by far the most entertaining Q&A I've ever done.
It's better.
All right, this is just a question. Of all the episodes you guys did, it's another one that each one can answer. What was your favorite episode that you worked on for the show?
I like the ones that we got to go in the pool. Those were fun for me, because I like to swim. So we got to dive in the pond and then come out in the caves. I like that. That was exciting.
I like there was the episode called The Circle. It was the second year. Everybody asked, did we ever get back? And we did in the second year. And if you remember, Enoch, I was in the cave with Enoch, and he said, there's a paradox. 3 must leave and 3 must enter. And what happened was the Land of the Lost was about to destroy itself because the energy was wrong. And we would see, I'd look in the mist doorway, and we'd see us coming the raft into the Land of the Lost. And I said, Enoch, you mean we can leave? He says, no, you must leave. And what it meant was the family had to walk through the doorway, and our doppelgangers came in. So when we did it, ourselves came back, and it started the whole show over again. We were looking at the cave and saying, oh my gosh, where are we? And it began again. Which I thought, come on, this is for Saturday morning for kids. And that's why the Star Trek writers were so amazing.
I really liked the episode where I got to play myself without the Chaka makeup on, and that was great because wearing the makeup and everything was very hot and uncomfortable, and the lights on the stage were, very hot. It's like 100 degrees on the set all the time. So being in a super hot, hairy, itchy suit, it was nice to be out of that for one episode. So that was my favorite.
And his sister actually wore the Chaka costume that day.
There was an episode. Tell them about the episode. The episode was
The Test. Was it The Test or The Musician?
musician. I think.
The Musician. And yes, my sister got to play my role for the day so that I could face, myself. And she cried, I think, the whole thing.
We have a picture of Phil on the table. There's a
Pouting Paku.
yeah with his little Dorothy Hamill haircut, and
I don't think it was Dorothy Hamill, but thanks for that embarrassing comment.
It was very Adam Rich.
yes,
It was more Adam Rich.
yeah.
Okay.
But and also they got the first 2 years they got the Chaka outfit from where did they get it from?
From Universal.
But what show was it from?
I think it was, they had a bunch of them. So I think it could have been from Planet of the Apes, but I'm not sure.
I think it was Planet of the Apes. They went to get him fitted for the hairy costume, so it was just a stock costume. It wasn't until the 3rd year, when Ron Harper came, that he got a brand new hairy suit. And we have a photo. You gotta see it. Come to the table. It's a Phil with his new suit. And in the first 2 years, it was kind of, scraggly. Well, this one's all puffed up like
He
his
looks like he went
He's
through
going,
Paul Mitchell or something.
It's like I went to the beauty salon.
yeah, it's hysterical. And he is so happy. He's like so happy.
Yeah, because my underwear wasn't showing through finally. And always walking around like, oh, can they see my underwear, So it was kind of nice to have some more fur coverage.
But they made you go to the zoo, right?
They made us go to the zoo and also...
And they were talking about Ta and Sa, his mom and dad, which was Sharon Bayer and Joe Giammalva. And Sharon, by the way, from the Mouseketeers, you guys watch the Mouseketeers? I'm Annette. I'm Sharon. That was Sharon. She was his mom.
Okay, so let me continue with my story. Yeah, would you like to add anything else before I continue?
I don't know.
So the producers wanted us to emulate real monkeys, so they sent us to the zoo to observe the monkeys there. And that was a lot of fun, but of course in the show we don't throw any monkey shit around. But that's pretty much what we saw. And then we had to go watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, and please hold your microphone away from mine. Thank you. Just hold it in one place toward your mouth. There you go. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. There'll be some treats later for you.
He gave me
And so yeah, that's how we train. That's how we train.
He's going to take some questions.
Yeah, questions.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if there was an end to that.
Oh, okay.
Boy,
Let's hear one of your lengthy stories.
I guess it'll get more interesting when they go back to the room. So,
did you guys see the picture of us in bed last time we were chilling with the heads and the 3 of us sleeping? Anyway, come to the table. I'll show you.
that sounds interesting. So we have a few more minutes left. These things are crazy fun. So we're gonna take a few questions. Keep them.
Right there. Water is life.
For Wesley, did you have any memories of recording the theme song?
I do. I went into Michael. I was recording for Motown at the time. There were 4 white boys. You've never heard of us because we're 4 white boys. And Michael Wood was one of the singers with the group, and he became one of the most famous producers. And he had his studio in Beverly Hills. And I went in and we sang it. And then, of course, when the 3rd year, when our dad left, I had to re-record the theme song. And it was the new theme song was what was it? Uncle Jack, no, Will and Holly Marshall, as the earth beneath him trembled,
Lost their father through the door of time. Uncle Jack was searching and found the kids at last, looking for a way to escape from the land
of the lost. Oh, and by the way, roar.
Next question.
Oh, now that's a pity clap.
We'll take another question. Anybody? Yes.
Question for Phillip. Whatever happened with that guy from Sugar Ray who claimed he was you?
I had to go find an attorney to put like a stop to that because they were kind of taking it a little too far, and so it started out actually they were they did it as a joke between. It wasn't like ill-spirited in any way, but then like their band members started to take it a little out of hand. So one of my attorney friends, wrote him a letter to cease and desist, and they did, and they publicly apologized.
Did anybody ever see the Chaka logo across the bass drum of the Nirvana Teen Spirit video? Did you ever see that? Yeah. So my point was you've got...
Oh, is this one of your stories?
And so the answer is Ron Howard was not Chaka.
No, he wasn't. Either was the Sugar Ray guy.
It was Clint Howard.
Clint Howard, I'm sorry, Clint Howard.
Ron Howard was...
Yeah, the brother, yeah. Yes.
What are your fondest memories of Spencer Milligan?
What's the fondest memories of Spencer Milligan?
Oh, I adored him. I just love him. He was just as real as a heart attack, and fun and protective and loving. And did I say fun? Because he was so much fun.
Well, tell him about
He made us really laugh.
Tell him about that one day.
On the set?
Yeah.
We all, like Phil and I used to buddy up to the prop guy because he would give us things so we could get in trouble on the set. And Spencer was friends with one of the head painters. And so we had him paint an old-fashioned slot machine across his chest. And we had to do one of those scenes that I like where we dive into the pool. Well, unbeknownst to Spencer, the Crofts were bringing in some of the CEOs from NBC that day, but we didn't know about it. So Spencer just wanted to mess around with the crew and, have a good laugh. And so when we were all taking off our, Land of the Lost regular clothing and getting into our swim gear, he tore his shirt open like that, and there was this old-fashioned slot machine with cherries and plums and everything, and there's Sid, Marty, the CEOs, and they were mortified. He got in so much trouble because this is expensive film and tape being run at the same time. So yeah, we got our hands spanked bad for that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Were you ever approached to do a cameo in a movie or anything?
We didn't. We did it. It just got.
It was horrible, guys. It was horrible. They didn't write anything special for us. Will Ferrell was terrific. He's a huge fan of the show. And I know you guys, he was in another movie where his character's name was Marshall Willinolly. And so he loved the show. He could not have been nicer. But they didn't write anything, so they gave Kathy and I, we were just man and woman picking up our car at a part that got, it was the ending of the original script got cut. And
We were in the La Brea tar pits. It was this really strange scene.
Will Ferrell was supposed to be the valet car parker that got cut, and then because he couldn't get a job, we had parked our car with him, and we were coming back to get validated. He says, "I don't need any validation. I found Land of the Lost." That was it, and it was.
And then he made out with Holly.
Oh, that was so weird, guys. I went to the premiere at Grauman's Chinese, the big, they'd spent, $100 million in this film. They lost $200 million. So we went, they did. The head of Universal got fired. Sid Marty Krofft has since apologized. So I'm sitting in Grauman's, packed, every celebrity you can imagine, Phil is there, and I'm watching the show, and it's going on, and then suddenly the character of Marshall kisses Holly. Because it's not father and daughter, it's just work cohorts. And I literally, imagine this, Grauman's Chinese, every celebrity in the world, he kisses her, I go, ah!
Yeah, very odd.
We have time for one more question. That's a question.
That's it?
That's it?
That's it? Oh, here's a question.
How many sleeve stacks were ever together on this?
Great.
3.
That was the max ever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know they were basketball players. They were, and, you know, Bill Laimbeer of the Detroit Pistons was a sleeve stack back in the day. So he talks about it, and all the guys went on to become semi-pro. You know, they were all on scholarship in UCLA, I believe, or USC. USC. So, and we had a ball with those guys, and Spencer, and you know, Ron Harper, and I got to tell you, it was a very happy set. We had a really good time, and we're very grateful for you guys remembering. It means the world to us. To 43 years later, when we aired, to still be, first of all, the show's still on the air, but just to, you know, to be here and thank you guys for showing up and supporting us.
Thank you guys for coming. Apologies for the microphone mishap. We'll try to get that ironed out. But thanks again. Please.
Thank you.